What's up, dogs and dogettes? Welcome to week 7 of the NFL Pick'em football season with your boy Harkdawg 25, where we try and pick against the spreads and win a little cash from my Pick'em league and just have some fun. Talk some football, talk some fantasy football. My fantasy football teams did pretty well last week. I went 3-1. My one league, it's a 2 QB league, kind of crazy. Scored 230 points, lost. 0-6 in that league. But overall, I'm doing pretty well. I'm 3-3, 5-1, and 4-2 in the other ones. And they're very competitive leagues, so it's not easy. But thank goodness for DeAndre Hopkins after Jamal Charles went down. But let's get into our scores from last week. Harkdawg scores. I was 8-6, picking straight up. 6-7-1 against the spread. Just a bad week. I thought a few of the teams, let me take a look at my Computron here. Yeah, Detroit kind of screwed me. I mean, Chicago was going to cover. Then Detroit got the lucky penalty at the end there and was able to score a touchdown and tie. Denver got unlucky and didn't cover. I mean, Arizona laid an egg. Carolina beat Seattle. Miami crushed Tennessee. Green Bay didn't close out San Diego like I thought they would. New England didn't close out Indianapolis like I thought it would. But that's what it is. Picking against the spread is not that easy. And that's why we do it, and that's why we have some fun. So let's jump right into the total. I'm 57-34 win-loss. 52-38-2 versus the spread. So I'm still doing really well on the season. I'm third in my Pick'em league overall, but I just haven't won any cash. Let's take a look. Fitz Canada, he was 9-5 straight up last week. 59-27, 32 overall. And against the spread, he was 7-6-1, which brings his total 23-18-2. So not doing too bad. Not on the dogs level yet, but you'll get there. Let me see, 46, 36. Yeah, he's a little bit behind me in percent, but that's all right. It's all right. So let's get into the picks here real quick. Actually, give me 1 second. I'm going to cut forward. All right, dogs and nuggets, I'm back. Sorry. So Mungy was typing a message to me about tonight. So let's jump into the game. San Francisco at home. 6-point underdogs versus Seattle. San Francisco's been playing a little bit better. Their defense a little bit better. Their offense definitely better. Seattle's been playing worse. They keep blowing fourth quarter leads. 6 points is a lot. San Francisco's at home. I feel like I'm going to make a bad choice here. I should go with the better coach and the better QB in Seattle. But I'm going to go with San Francisco to cover the points. I'll pick Seattle to win. I don't feel very good about it. I think Seattle might dominate this game. They're a better primetime team anyways. And they've had San Francisco's number for like the last 3 years. Yeah, we'll see. All right, let's move on. The London game, the London home team, Jacksonville Jaguars against Buffalo, and no Tyrod Taylor. So we got EJ Manuel. Sammy Watkins is out. LaShawn McCoy is still there. I feel like Jacksonville can cover this spread. Buffalo might win. I think Jacksonville can cover. Blake Bortles is playing very good this year. He's getting the ball to Robinson, Hearns. He's got Julius Thomas back. Hopefully TJ Yeldon works in the running game a little bit and put some pressure off of Bortles. But the defense needs to step up against Buffalo a little bit. The defense on Jacksonville has just been atrocious this year. But I think Jacksonville is going to cover the spread in this game. Buffalo is going to win by a field goal, like maybe a 23-20 type game. All right, next game, Washington Redskins. Redskins? Hey, Redskins. Yeah, the scones. They taste good when they're red. Favored by 3.5 points against Tampa Bay at home. Tampa Bay coming, doing pretty well with Doug Martin. I think did they play last week? Sorry, I'm getting like messages from everywhere now. Tampa Bay, they did not. They were on bye last week. That's what I thought. But they went into the bye with a win. They played really well. Doug Martin got a lot of touches. So they keep the ball in Jameis's hands, put it in Doug Martin's hand. Doug Martin could have a big game. Mike Evans could have a big game. But I just feel Washington at home, their defensive front is good. They're going to force some turnovers. They got a decent back end. And Matt Jones in the running game, he's looking a little bit healthier now. Deshaun Jackson, is that guy ever going to play? Before the season started, he's like, I'm the best wide receiver in the league. He hasn't played a snap this season. Yeah, you're real good waste of money for your team. God. But I think Washington's going to win and cover. I think Tampa Bay on the road just doesn't have it. If Tampa Bay was at home, I would definitely pick them at home. So if Washington stops Martin, which they probably won't be able to, then they definitely have a shot with Cousins, managing that team. Next game, Tennessee at home against your Atlanta Falcons, coming off a loss against New Orleans. Man, New Orleans plays well primetime at home. Other than that, they just not a good team. But Atlanta coming off that loss, I think they're going to play a lot better this week, especially Tennessee. Marcus Mariota is out. They're bringing in Mettenberger. That defense, they have no running game in Tennessee, so it's going to make that team one-dimensional. And a bad team that's one-dimensional, it's going to be a long day. You're going to have yourself a bad time, Tennessee. I think Atlanta's going to win and cover this one. Devontae Freeman's just too strong. Julio, Matt Ryan, they're all going to put up massive amounts of points. So Atlanta this week, my pick. All right, next game. Indianapolis favored by 5 points at home against the New Orleans Saints, coming off that big victory. 10 days rest. It's not going to be enough. Indianapolis with luck back there. They did some good work against the Patriots, minus that punt. The punt? What the hell was that? Who calls that and who snaps the ball? Just be like, Pagano's got to be like, timeout, this ain't going to work. You're not just going to hold it there and take the penalty. Just call a timeout. I mean, you basically gave New England the game right there. So dumb. But I feel like they won't call a fake punt this time. So I think Indianapolis is going to win. They're going to dominate New Orleans and that anemic defense that they got, especially with Browner being terrible. Delvin Brew, I actually met a guy who down in New Orleans while I was down there who trains with Delvin Brew and actually knows him as one of his really good friends. So I heard his story even before he became a national story, and it's just a crazy story. Yeah, if you get a chance, look it up. The quarterback for New Orleans, Delvin Brew. Really, really crazy story on how he went to the NFL and how he got to the NFL. Feel good story. So I wish him luck. I hope he does well. But I hope he gives up a touchdown this week so Indianapolis can cover spread. Next game, Detroit at home against Minnesota. Detroit somehow won. I'll tell you how they won. They threw the ball to Calvin Johnson for once. They didn't try and be a run-first team. Amir Abdullah is way too small. Joyke Bell is just not good. They got to throw the ball 50 times. That's the only way they can win. They got good receivers. They got Tate, Johnson, obviously. Ebron, I think, is in there. Some other dude that can catch the ball. Then another guy that can catch the ball. Anyways, it doesn't matter. You just got to throw the ball a lot. That's the only way they're going to score points. That's why they're 0-5 before, because they're trying to be a run-first team. It's not going to happen. But I think Minnesota is just too strong. They're coming off the bye. They're healthy. AP's running good. Bridgewater's got to play a little bit better. He's got to get the ball to Wallace, Charles Johnson, Cordarrelle, Stephon Diggs. No, they played last week. Minnesota won last week. But, they got to get the ball to the playmakers and then let the defense just, get a couple balls from Matt Stafford and get a couple extra possessions. And I think Minnesota's going to win and cover. Next game, Kansas City at home against the Landry Jones-led Pittsburgh Steelers. Last week, Landry Jones came off the bench after Vic got hurt. He threw 8 passes. He connected for 8 passes, 2 touchdowns. His first and last pass were a touchdown, which is kind of crazy, to Martavius Bryant. And they actually won. They beat Arizona, which is crazy. Arizona just gave them the game, though. Red zone turnovers. It's just not good. But I feel Landry Jones with Le'Veon Bell carrying the ball 25 times. And Kansas City just doesn't have an offense without Charles there. So if the defense there in Pittsburgh stops Kelsey and stops Macklin, it's going to be a long day for Kansas City. It's going to be a long season for Kansas City. Let's just put it that way. They're going to get 3 wins. They're just not good. So I got Pittsburgh winning and covering this game. I just think they have too much talent on offense and enough on defense to hold Kansas City's anemic offense to fewer points than they get. So next game, St. Louis at home, favored by 4.5 points against Cleveland. I got St. Louis winning this game, but only by a field goal. Cleveland has been in the games for the last 3 weeks. McCown's been throwing the ball all over. He's got Barnage, Travis Benjamin, Duke Johnson Jr. That defense has been getting turnovers. They got 3 picks of Manning last week. St. Louis, I think they're coming off a bye. Let me double check. No. Yes. Yeah, they're coming off a bye. Oh, I see. I paged way far over. Yeah, they're coming off a bye. So Foles, Gurley has just been tearing it up the first 2 weeks he played. He's going to tear it up again this week, but Cleveland's going to keep up. I think it's going to be a good game, like 27-24, 30-27. St. Louis is going to win, but Cleveland is going to cover this spread. Next game, Miami at home, 4.5 points against Houston. Houston, a big win against Jacksonville last week. DeAndre Hopkins, just an absolute stud this year, and I picked him up in the 6th round in one of my leagues, and he is just a bona fide stud. Absolutely good. Absolutely number 1. Miami coming off that big win, though, against Tennessee. And they're playing like they have some life now. The defense actually plays like they have some life. They crushed Marcus Mariota, even though it was a dirty hit on the knee. Just a crazy turnaround for Miami from week to week. And Houston, if this was at home, I'd probably pick Houston, but since it's in Miami, I feel that Miami is going to play that first home game under Campbell. They're going to dominate. They're going to win by a touchdown. They're going to take Houston to cleaners because the Houston just does not have the offense to stay with them. Even though they got Hopkins and Foster, outside of that, they just don't have anybody. Even Cecil Shorts isn't that good. So I got Miami winning and covering this game. Then the biggest game of the weekend, New England Patriots at home, favored by 9 glorious points against your New York Jets, 4-1 Jets. And I have the Jets covering this game. New England's going to win by a field goal. These teams always play close. In recent, it's close. It's more close than it is widely separated. So these two teams absolutely hate each other. They're talking trash already. It's going to be a war. And the Jets, number 1 defense overall, pass defense, rush defense, points allowed. New England, number 1 offense, points scored, passing yards per game. And I think they're going to put up some points, but the Jets are going to hang with them. If Fitzpatrick does not turn the ball over, gets the ball to Marshall, Decker, Chris Ivory has a big game, rush for 150 yards. They actually could win it, but I got the Jets covering for sure. New England winning this time. Then San Diego at home, favored by 4 points against the Oakland Raiders. Oakland coming off a bye. Derek Carr, Cooper, Latavius Murray. I think they're just too young. San Diego really impressed me in the game against Green Bay, my Packers last week. Rivers was just, you couldn't stop him. You blitz, he'd see the blitz coming, he'd hit the quick out to Woodhead. He'd see the blitz coming from one side, he'd throw it to the other side, get it to Allen. He'd audible, he'd direct traffic. I mean, the guy is just a bona fide game master, and he torched the Packers D for yards. They didn't get many points. They got 20 points, and they only got that 1 extra touchdown at the half on a 4th down with 2 seconds left. So if the Packers stop them there, they really only got 13 points with over 550 yards of offense, which is a testament to the Packers D and their red zone D for sure. So if I got San Diego winning cover in this one, it's at home. I think Oakland is not strong enough yet. So next year, I think the roles will be reversed. Then the NFC East showdown, New York Giants coming off a pitiful performance against the Dallas Cowboys coming off their bye. Dez Bryant not back yet. Matt Castle starting. Castle actually can throw the forward pass. Brandon Weeden cannot. He lost 11 straight games as a QB. I mean, it's terrible. Eli is regressing. Beckham Jr. is hurt. Victor Cruz is not back yet. Rashad Jennings is just not good. The D-line isn't there. The O-line isn't there. This team is just a multitude of problems. I can't believe they're favored by 5.5 points. That being said, Dallas covers. I think Dallas might win this game with Castle as the game manager. Even though Dallas has really no offensive players. McFadden is probably better than Rashad Jennings. Who's the other guy? Randall's better than Jennings. So if they establish the run early and then get the ball out to Terrence Williams and hit Witten a lot, which I think Castle will, they're going to grind the Giants D down, and Eli's going to make his mistakes like he always does. Boy, that was terrible against Philly last week. Blech. Blech. All right, Sunday night game. Great game. Carolina 5-0 against the surging Philadelphia Eagles. Carolina coming off that big win against Seattle, and I loved it. I loved every minute of it. Even though I chose Seattle, I loved to see Seattle lose after what they did to the Packers last year. But the Packers are on a mission. They're favored by 3 points. I think Philadelphia is going to come into Carolina Sunday night and put a hurting on Carolina. I think that offense is starting to click now. They're getting the ball in the Murray's hands about 20 times a game, and good things are starting to happen. It's taking the pressure off Bradford, even though he's throwing picks. I mean, they crushed the Giants, even though Bradford threw like 3 picks last week. They just absolutely crushed them. So I feel that Carolina, their offense is just not good enough to keep up with the Philly offense. And the defense of Philly is no slouch either. Well, you got Fletcher Cox there on the D-line, and he's just been tearing it up. So I got Philly in this game. Monday Night Football, Arizona favored by 7.5 against the Baltimore Ravens. I think Arizona's going to win this game by a touchdown. I think Baltimore's going to cover. I just feel with Steve Smith Sr. back and Forsett, they have enough on offense to wear down the defense. Aikens stepping up a little bit. Crockett Gilmore. And Arizona is just, there's some chinks in that armor. We saw they put up 12 points. Palmer's, throwing picks. They're not putting up 40 points a week like they did, the first 4 weeks. So I feel that Arizona, even though it's at home, they're going to win. Baltimore's going to cover this spread. So those are my picks for the week. Leave your picks below. Follow Fitz's format. He writes down the name and win and cover. So it's easier for me to tally it up. And I'll throw yours up in the sub straight up results in the picture next week. And we'll see how you do versus the Dawg. So take care and enjoy some football.